All right, good afternoon. It's Friday, September 6th, for those who have been back to school this week. Happy first week back at school. I hope that for all the kiddos, for all the older students, so like universities and colleges, and for all the adult learners, I hope it was a great, and for all the teachers um, all the areas. I hope you had a good first week back, and I hope that you're going to have a much deserved restful weekend. Although I know that for many of you, you will probably also be in prep and planning. So I want to talk about a couple things today. I want to talk about water restrictions because we are not hitting the mark and we really, really need to. I want to talk about the Green Line, the fallout of the Green Line. And I want to just talk about a few things that I'm kind of randomly getting tagged in and commented on across social media, and sort of just try to help clarify where and when I can help and where and when I can't help, and also sort of just to clean up a couple things. So first, I want to talk about water restrictions. We are not hitting our daily reduction limit, and this is really, really concerning for us. And we are having big conversations. We're having conversations about what we're going to do about this, because we are not able to fill the underground reservoirs enough right now, and we are like barely making it. And so we are trying. I'm sounding the alarm on behalf of my administrative colleagues, on behalf of my council colleagues, that we need to reduce our water. It's really hard. It's really hard. I posted about this on Tuesday because I saw people out buying sprinklers and hoses to go run through the sprinklers and hoses because it's hot. I saw some people like washing out and off bikes and pools and lots of other things the other day. And I know it is so hard. We want to wrap up for fall, but those are things that really just need to wait. And I'm just truly asking everyone to be compliant, use less water at home, cook with less water, clean with less water, reduce your shower time, turn on the taps less, turn off the water, flush less. It is so, so important. I cannot stress enough how critical this is. We do not want to find ourselves in a situation where we do not have water for emergency services. We are coming into some hot, dry weather. Grass fires are a real risk. Like, there are big concerns, and I really hope that nothing goes wrong. I really hope nothing goes wrong. So please, please, please keep reducing your water. We have opened non-potable water stations on the rivers. You can get that information online. So if you do feel that you need to be watering outdoors, please go get that non-potable water. We got to let our tomatoes die, friend. I know it is so hard and so challenging when we've put time and effort into our gardens and our yards to just let it go. There is next year. We need to be able to complete this, and we need to do it safely and in a way that doesn't compromise the safety of Calgarians. So please, please, please reduce water. I put out a statement about the Green Line yesterday after our discussions based on the letter from the Minister of Transportation earlier in the week. I see that they continue to double down, believing that there is another alignment. I am not sure that they're going to find one. And if they are, that cost is going to be theirs to bear. I will say a lot of people are saying that we've just saved $1.5 billion worth of taxpayer money. We in fact haven't. Because by the time we wind down this project from the city perspective and calculate all the money that we've already put into it to date, we are going to be over $1.5 billion into this project with nothing to show, nothing to move people around. And if they pick a totally different alignment, then a lot of that work is going to have to be repeated on a different alignment. So when we talk about throwing good money after bad, here goes the province again. This alignment has been studied to death. It is proven to be the appropriate alignment. I understand the disappointment from the provincial government that we had to reduce the line based on financial constraints due to the market pressures. When you imagine a project 10 years ago and you start to realize a project 10 years later and all of the holdbacks essentially that have happened over those 10 years, all of the different reviews, it doesn't create a lot of confidence in the market. When the market doesn't have confidence in a project, they jack up their prices. Never mind that, the cost of goods have just gone up. The cost of labor has just gone up. So slowing a project down never makes it cheaper. So if they think they're going to have another feasible alignment by the end of 2024 that actually works with our existing transit system, I guess I'm curious. I'll be open-minded, but I'm not very optimistic based on all the information that I have received in the last 3 years on this project. So I'm deeply disappointed. BRT, a lot of people saying just do BRT. BRT is not an option. You cannot move that many people on buses in a rapid fashion down to the core without causing gridlock. More buses is not the solution. At grade is not the solution. At grade creates gridlock. It means every time there has to be a train crossing, traffic stops and doesn't flow into the core. So it's less effective for everybody. There is no more capacity on the red and blue line. So even if you think that you're going to run BRT, further BRT to the red and blue line, they are essentially at capacity. You ask anyone who tries to get on at City Hall between 4 and 5 p.m., any weekday, the trains are at capacity. There is no more room on the 7th Avenue line, which is why we chose the alignment we did, why we're going underground so that we don't create traffic gridlock for those, so that there's not multiple train crossings for people driving, for those who are choosing to drive into downtown. So there's a number of feasibility reasons and technical reasons. And these are all well documented, reported in studies that the transportation minister could review if he took the opportunity, but hasn't. So deeply disappointing. So this is not a failure of the city. All of the stalls and the delays in this project have come from the provincial government. The city has been pressing ahead consistently, constantly, and doing their best work on this. This is a failure of the provincial government. And if you think it's not, that's fine. But then I guess it's really hard. It's really hard because there's many things where I can say like, yeah, we've screwed up. I will always admit where I faults. This is not one of them. This is not about politics. This is actually about governance and oversight and good fiscal management. And this is not it by the provincial government. I can tell you that. I can tell you that it may not seem like it, but I'm probably one of the most scrutinous individuals around all of our budget spends. And I have challenged the heck out of this project. And believe me, I fought to get it as far as I could get it, recognizing it was a compromise for Ward 11 residents, recognizing the realignment that we had to do within the budget constraints, plus the additional money that we've had to put in. It's not easy. It's deeply uncomfortable because that comes with a ton of compromises. But it was the most responsible thing to do to build out the bones of a system. Building to somewhere around the event center down to Seton is not the bones of a system that desperately needs to go north. We'll never get there. If that is the alignment that gets built, this will never get built to the north. And that is, that's really, really discouraging. So I am not hopeful that the province is going to find anything better. And I am doubtful that the federal government would come to fund that project because they're going to then have to do their own review on the numbers because the existing grant funding that we got was predicated on all of the information that we've sent on the existing alignment. So there's going to be tons of other feasibility studies, which is going to further delay the project. And then you also have to think that we, the city, are the developing or the approving authority on development. And so if we say that this is not going to fit within our existing transportation structure, because there's going to have to be a transportation impact assessment, if it's not going to fit, we're not going to give them approvals to build on it. So like the province is not doing anyone a favor here by delaying this any further. I would love to say that I could come to the table in the future and be a good faith partner on this. But it's going to be really, really difficult because we've seen all the numbers and the potential alignments. And like we have run through these questions time and time again with the Green Line Board. I have heard my colleagues say, oh, we could do this, we could do this. Again, the Green Line Board and our administration has been able to articulate over and over and over again why this is the best project. It has oodles of community support. So it's really challenging. It's really challenging. All right, I want to just pivot really quickly to a bit of can and can'ts and just remind kind of the community at large because we're getting some emails asking us for some specific help. I'm getting tagged in social media, specifically on Facebook. And there's some bit of misinformation out there that I want to kind of just correct around like what we can and can't do. So specifically, if you are in the community of Braeside, can you please fact check your friends? I don't live there. So I'm getting tagged saying that I live in Braeside, therefore I should be more invested. I don't live in Braeside. I'm not sharing where I live We've got enough security concerns as a family, not sharing where I live in Ward 11. Happy to say that. Going to leave it there. There is unfortunately an individual who is causing some disturbances in Braeside, who is going into yards. Now, this is happening in many neighborhoods. I'm seeing it in Haysboro. I'm seeing it at Acadia. And yeah, I am in a lot of the community chat groups, so I can kind of keep a pulse on things. That's not where I respond to constituents. If you tag me, I will remove that tag. And at some point, I may have to remove myself from these chats, but it's a good place for us to keep a pulse on things, because it does help us respond and have conversations with administration. So we are watching, we are listening. We've actioned a lot of things just really silently, but tagging me, you're not going to get a response. So if you have an individual, I'm sorry, there is nothing I can specifically do about it. I'm really, really sorry. I can support bylaw by allocating resources to them. In other words, funding. We approve the bylaws, but when it comes to enforcement, and this is the same thing for CPS, when it comes to enforcement and the decisions they make, I have no sway or say in the matter. They have a prioritization system, and it's deeply frustrating. So if you are running into a challenging problem, you need to keep connecting with CPS. You need to be on top of CPS or reach out through bylaw, which you can do through 311. There is a community resource officer assigned to every community. If you don't know who that is, you can ask our office who the community resource officer is. We can direct you towards that person. But specifically, I cannot say to bylaw or CPS, this person's a problem, this community, it has to come through complaints. It has to be reported. Data is what drives action. Similarly, I don't assign what potholes get, filled in what order, or what the snow route clearing is. We allocate resources, we set the policy, and then we leave the operations teams to make the dedicated and best decisions. From time to time on high-level projects, our office is engaged about prioritization, and we talk through that, and we work with the community, and we direct back to who the best community advocates are to be involved in the projects. But on day-to-day operations, mowing, potholes, snow clearing, bylaw, our office does not have that directional ability. And I know that's really hard, and a lot of people would really, really like us to have it, but we don't. So I empathize with your frustrations about having individuals in your community who are disruptive, who are not good community actors, who are causing disruptions. I know it is very, very difficult. These are issues that do need to be taken up with police, with bylaw. So either through 311 or the non-emergency number, and continuous reporting. I know that feels burdensome and hard, and it feels like the onus is on you. But I can tell you that your experiences and your story matter more actually than me saying anything on every single individual situation and case, because it is happening citywide. It is happening citywide, and I know it is hard. And again, I continue to say I know it's hard and frustrating. We have allocated more resources to bylaw. We continue to support and fund CPS. They are looking at joint programs. It is hard. I know that it is hard. So that's kind of really it in a nutshell. So I want you to know the office is really actively working on, again, supporting some community associations through the fall here with some of the challenges they're having with their facilities. I am looking and reviewing at our mowing policy, because I think we could do better there. And then we are starting to head into budget season. And so kind of that budget final review. And of course, this is now totally upended based on Greenline News and what we're going to do there. So it is going to be a very busy couple months with a lot of sort of strategic collective insight that we are going to be working on with our administrative partners to try to deliver something really good for Calgary. I will say that if you didn't get a chance to watch Executive Committee on Tuesday, and I know not many people tune in, I totally get that. If you want to go back and watch the mid-cycle report, and it talks about our financial gap that we have based on sort of not increasing taxes due to population and inflation. It's a really good It's a really good highlight of the financial challenges that we are facing due to a lot of deferred maintenance, but also due to really, really high population growth. And this is not just a Calgary thing. This is a lot of municipalities, in particular in Alberta. And so I am also having lots of conversations with my colleagues across the province on what it is that we're going to do, how we're going to have this conversation, and again, continued advocacy towards the province for funding their share of programs and services that they are responsible for. So I can tell you that, like transit, for example, so low-income transit, for example, is a really good one. They have not given additional money towards the low-income transit passes for many, many, many years. We've had incredible population growth. We have had incredible inflationary pressures causing more people to be eligible for this program. And we are essentially trying to spread a measly $6.2 million across almost double, if not more, the number of users that were using it even 5 years ago. That is income assistance that is clearly jurisdictional of the province. So we put in, and again, on intergovernmental affairs, we are saying that 6.2 million, it really should be 20 million. We have a government that is coming into an over $5 billion surplus yet again. And all municipalities are needing funding and allocations and resources that you are giving to the provincial government through your massive education tax increase that has coming on your property tax bill, and that money is not coming back to our city to fund the services that we need, not only for the most vulnerable Calgarians, but for all Calgarians. I am not going to be nice to the province in the next little bit because they are not equipping our city with the means that we need as a supportive partner to grow and stay as a world-class city. So happy Friday, all. The weather is going to be nice. Please don't water. Please reduce your water consumption. So, so critical. Talk to you all later. Okay, Joe.